So in this video, I'll be talking about the primitive data types, reserved memory, naming conventions, operators, and the scanner object. By now, you should be quite familiar with Java's program structure. Nothing on the screen should be new to you. We have our class up here, and we have our main method down here. So Java has 8 primitive data types. So we have int, short, byte, long, char, boolean, float, and double. So why are data types important? Well, each data type can hold a separate amount of storage size. An int holds 4 bytes, short holds 2 bytes, a byte holds 1 byte, a long holds 8 bytes, a char holds 2 bytes, a boolean returns a value of true or false, a float can hold a storage size of 4 bytes, and a double can hold a storage size of 8. Generally, you would use this for a number, a shorter number, an even shorter number, integer values, and this is a long integer value. A char is just a letter, a boolean true or false, a float is a decimal number, and if you want to be more precise, you use a double. So in order to use the data types, we have to create identifiers. All identifiers are a sequence of letters, numbers, underscores, and dollar signs. You can start off a identifier with letters, underscores, dollar signs, but not a number, so no numbers. It is case sensitive, so if you write number and number with a capital N and a lowercase n, they're two separate places in memory. They're two completely separate addresses, and they will hold different values. Next, we want to make them as descriptive as possible, so you wouldn't want to name a number num, you want to name it number, and you cannot use keywords. So in order to save a value in memory, you would first want to declare a variable, and you can easily do that by declaring the type, the name of that variable, and set it equal to some value. There's two ways of doing it. You can either do it on one line or multiple lines, name, and then give that value, give the name a value, or that variable a value. An example would be, so type int, the name of that variable, let's give it number, is equal to, let's say 2. So you can either do it like this or on multiple lines. So number is equal to 2. So it would be this one. All a variable is a number that can change in a program. Next we can declare a constant. You can declare a constant by using the keyword final, giving it a type, a name, and setting it equal to some value. So unlike the variable, by convention, you always want to declare constants in one line, and you want to name that constant with all capital letters. So an example would be final. Let's say we have a double pi is equal to 3.14. So like I said, by convention, you would want to make the name of that constant all capital letters, and you want to declare it in one line. Erase all this. So the difference between a constant and a variable is that a variable can change, like I mentioned. So number is equal to 9. A constant you cannot change. It won't allow you to change it. See, you would get an error. So next we have naming conventions. For variables and methods, you want to start each name with a lowercase, and if there's more than one word, you want to concatenate it together, and you want to start off the first letter of each word with a capital letter. So an example would be number is number, keeping the first one lowercase and then the beginning letter of each word with an uppercase. For constants, by convention, all the name of that variable would be all capital letters, and if there's more than one word, you want to separate them by an underscore. So computer is computer, and so on. So Java can do math. We have the standard arithmetic operators, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and remainder. Example of the following would be, so let's set the type and then the variable equal to number, or the name of that variable number. number is equal to 4 minus 2. Number, let's actually make this plus 2. So it's equal to 4 minus 2. Number 4 times 2. Number 4 divided by 2. And number 4, the remainder when it's divided by 2. So if you run this, you won't get anything because you're not printing anything out to the console. Oh, well, it's doing the math, but you're not seeing it. In order to see the math, you want to use that method, system out method, and then you want to print out number. Let's copy that so you don't have to see me type. So what it's doing here, it's doing the math, it's saving the value into number, and we're displaying that number. And then because this is a variable, the variable can change. So we're changing the variable each time here, and then we're printing out before it is changed again. So if you run that, then you can see that 4 plus 2 is 6, 4 minus 2 is 2, 4 times 2 is 8, and 4 divided by 2 is 2, and then the remainder of 4 divided by 2 is 0. So you can combine the math operators with an assignment operator, like so. And all this does, it's a shortcut. So for example, int number, let's set that number equal to 1. If we write int, I don't like that indentation. Oops. So number plus assignment operator 1 is the same thing as writing number is equal to number plus 1. So it's just a shortcut. Another example is the same thing as writing number is equal to number minus 1, and so on. We can also use incrementing and decrementing operators. This allows us to add or subtract 1 from the variable. So suppose we have int number is equal to 1. If we want to subtract 1 from that number, we can easily do that by using the operator, the incrementing or decrementing operator, shorthand, minus minus, which will return a 0. If we want to add 1 to that variable, we can do number plus plus, and because number will be 0, if we add 1, it would become a 1, and so on. And then again, this is just shorthand for number minus 1, or number is equal to number minus 1, and same thing for the bottom, just changing the signs to addition. So before I end the video, I want to quickly talk about how to take input from the user. So you want to create a scanner object, input equals to new scanner system.in. Right now, don't worry about what this all means. There will be a video just on objects, and you'll understand it there. Just know that in order to take input from the user, just use a scanner class, and this is how you would do it. Enter a number, and then when they enter that number, we want to take that number and save it into number, and we get that number by doing input, referencing the scanner, and using the method next int, and let's display that number. Your number is number. Here you can see we have an error because we have to import the class. Just hover over it and then select on import scanner, and everything should be fine. You run that, it asks you for a number. I'll put in 10, and your number is 10. It works. So with the boring stuff out of the way, on the next video I can get into the fun parts, and that's controlling the events of a program.